What if my most profound wound originated not from a stranger, but from someone whose hand I clasped in my youth? Someone with whom I shared laughter, tears, and a common home. Someone who ideally should have served as my primary protector, rather than a source of quiet toxicity. From birth, I'm presented with the comforting falsehood that familial ties are indissoluble, thicker than water. But what occurs when that promise fragments into betrayal, leaving silent scars I carry in solitude, too ashamed to even articulate? Stoicism offers potent clarity in this regard. Not bitterness or vengeance, but an unwavering confrontation with truth. Epictetus wisely taught, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. And sometimes, the most resilient, healthiest response isn't forgiveness, but maintaining distance. In this video, I'll courageously explore 7 betrayals perpetrated by siblings that should never be tolerated. Not driven by cold-heartedness, but because I finally learned to safeguard my peace, dignity, and self-worth. These aren't mere errors. They represent dangerous patterns capable of shaping my entire existence unless confronted directly. Hit subscribe and accompany me. Let's staunch the bleeding and commence living authentically. 1. Undermining you behind closed doors. Sometimes betrayal isn't overt or dramatic. It operates quietly, insidiously, concealed behind smiles. One of the most poignant betrayals from a sibling can manifest subtly, occurring behind closed doors. This involves my brother or sister appearing supportive in my presence, yet secretly undermining me when I am absent. They might nod with enthusiasm during discussions of my dreams and goals, even offer encouraging words, only to later sow seeds of doubt amongst those I care about most. They might casually misrepresent my actions, twist my words, or diminish my accomplishments. Gradually, these subtle manipulations sway the perceptions of parents, close relatives, or mutual friends, casting me in a negative light neither intended nor deserved. Imagine Sarah, who consistently worked diligently to earn her mother's respect. Sarah provided emotional and financial support to her family, investing herself fully in her responsibilities, hoping to forge a stronger bond. Despite her best efforts, she sensed an unspoken tension escalating between her and her mother. It perplexed her, leaving her feeling isolated and confused. Eventually, Sarah uncovered something profoundly unsettling. Her older sister, whom she trusted implicitly, had been quietly suggesting to their mother that Sarah was self-absorbed and unreliable. Her sister portrayed Sarah's achievements as attempts at overshadowing, framing genuine gestures of support as calculated maneuvers for favor. Suddenly, the inexplicable distance and growing mistrust became painfully clear. Sarah experienced a sharp pang of betrayal, a wound deeper than any previously encountered, precisely because it originated from someone implicitly trusted. The impact of such betrayal proves profoundly destructive, eroding the very foundation of familial trust. From childhood, I'm taught family represents an unwavering sanctuary, siblings standing united against external threats. Yet, here lies a situation where the threat is internal, the danger residing in invisible manipulations and whispered half-truths. This betrayal harms not just relationships but also self-esteem, fostering deep-rooted insecurities and self-doubt. Victims of such covert betrayal often spend years questioning their judgment, feeling isolated within their own families. But Stoicism offers profound wisdom here. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. Stoic philosophy teaches that while controlling others' actions or words lies beyond my capacity, I possess complete control over my reactions and judgments. Sarah learned to apply this wisdom by calmly confronting reality. Instead of succumbing to bitterness or anger, she chose clarity and strength. She understood that silence or passive acceptance amidst betrayal wasn't nobility, it was self-destructive. True peace arises from confronting truth and establishing clear boundaries, even if necessitating distance from a family member. Sarah calmly yet firmly communicated her truth to her mother and sister, explicitly stating the harm inflicted. While the relationship with her sister transformed, Sarah felt immediate relief, having reclaimed her narrative, dignity, and peace. The essential lesson here is powerful. Trust isn't guaranteed by kinship. It must be consistently earned through genuine actions. Protecting myself and my emotional well-being isn't selfishness, it's necessity. Forgiveness can occur without reopening avenues for further harm. In fact, closure sometimes entails having the strength to close a door, not in anger, but with self-respect and self-love. The Stoic approach empowers responding with reason over emotion, navigating betrayal without compromising personal, mental, and emotional health. 2. Sabotaging your success. Success within a family context should evoke feelings of shared victory, a joyous occasion where each member derives inspiration and pride. But what transpires when my triumph triggers envy rather than joy? When my accomplishments become a mirror reflecting a sibling's insecurities instead of a cause for collective celebration, it engenders one of the most profound and subtle forms of betrayal. This betrayal often doesn't manifest loudly or boldly. It conceals itself beneath jests, sarcasm, and carefully masked criticism. Comments like, "You were just in the right place at the right time," or "You're not who you used to be," are subtle yet sharp, hinting at underlying resentment and insecurity. The pain stems from recognizing someone expected to cheer me on is secretly competing, undermining my confidence to assuage their own fears. Consider Michael, who harbored a lifelong dream of writing a book. After years of late-night writing sessions and unwavering dedication, he finally published his debut novel. His family warmly celebrated his achievement. Yet he noticed his brother Eric offered only reserved praise, tinged with veiled skepticism. Later, Michael learned from mutual friends that Eric had ridiculed his efforts privately, suggesting Michael's success was unmerited, merely a fortunate occurrence. This revelation inflicted deep hurt, not solely due to the words, but because it highlighted the profound insecurity Eric felt regarding his own lack of direction. Michael's success served as an uncomfortable reminder to Eric of his unfulfilled potential, transforming shared joy into a source of resentment. Stoic philosophy provides a potent lens for viewing such betrayals. Epictetus taught focusing solely on controllable elements, responses and choices, not others' reactions and emotions. Applying this wisdom, Michael chose neither aggressive confrontation nor internalization of his brother's bitterness. Instead, he remained empathetic yet firm, recognizing Eric's criticism reflected personal struggles rather than a true judgment of Michael's worth or accomplishment. The crucial lesson is clear. My progress and accomplishments warrant no apology or concealment. Authentic love and support involve celebrating victories openly and genuinely. If someone close cannot handle my success without feeling diminished, their presence might hinder continued growth. Stoicism reminds us self-worth should never depend upon others' insecurities or judgments. Move forward proudly, knowing genuine relationships celebrate growth unconditionally, without resentment. My journey towards success is uniquely mine, and I need never shrink to accommodate another's inability to rise. If you found these insights valuable, let me know by commenting yes below. Your thoughts matter, and I'd love to hear from you. 3. Using shared history as leverage. Shared childhood experiences hold unique preciousness. They encompass moments of laughter, comfort, trust, shaping the bedrock of sibling connections. Yet, one of the deepest betrayals occurs when these cherished memories become weaponized. A sibling might employ our shared past as emotional leverage, invoking old mistakes or secrets to undermine present strength and independence. Instead of recalling memories warmly, they wield them strategically, reinforcing feelings of guilt or obligation. I might find myself hesitating, feeling trapped between past identity and present self. This manipulation feels uniquely painful because it originates from someone expected to stand beside me, not pull me backward. Consider someone persistently reminding me of past vulnerabilities, framing them as jokes or casual remarks. Yet I recognize the subtle edge intended to recall past errors or weaknesses. This tactic keeps me emotionally tethered, hindering assertion of boundaries or free pursuit of growth. Psychologically, this form of betrayal deeply roots in insecurity and fear. The sibling utilizing this tactic often grapples internally with personal stagnation or lack of control. Unable to manage insecurities healthily, they project these feelings onto me, using the past as a convenient instrument for reclaiming power and influence. Stoicism offers profound insight for navigating this painful dynamic. The philosophy emphasizes the impermanence of self, encouraging continuous personal development. According to Stoic teachings, clinging to past versions of oneself, or allowing others to chain me to outdated identities, constitutes a direct path towards unhappiness. As Marcus Aurelius reflected, our life is defined by harbored thoughts. Thus, I must consciously refuse confinement by historical mistakes or outdated images others project. Embracing this mindset liberates from emotional blackmail, reaffirming the right to evolve beyond former selves, to break free. Acknowledge my past lacks power to define my present or dictate my future. Establish clear emotional boundaries by refusing engagement with conversations solely intended for control or humiliation. Communicate firmly yet calmly that past identity differs from present reality, growth being not just a right, but a responsibility. Realizing sibling manipulations reflect personal insecurities rather than truthful assessments of my worth provides necessary emotional detachment for reclaiming control. Ultimately, anyone manipulating my past to restrict my present doesn't merit a role in shaping my future. My forward journey should be guided by personal growth, resilience, self-respect, not guilt or obligation to obsolete narratives. 4. Publicly humiliating you. Public humiliation inflicted by a sibling represents a betrayal not concealed quietly, but executed boldly before others, often masked as harmless humor or innocent teasing. This betrayal proves especially damaging because it instructs onlookers precisely how disrespect towards me is permissible. A sibling publicly embarrassing me takes the most personal, private facets of my life, failures, insecurities, secret fears, and presents them as entertainment. This type of betrayal undermines dignity, leveraging vulnerability for laughs or approval. The perpetrator expects acquiescence, reinforcing their narrative of acceptable actions, leaving me feeling trapped and silenced. I recall a family gathering where I personally experienced this betrayal. My older sister jokingly revealed to relatives a deeply personal struggle confided during a moment of weakness. The room filled with laughter, oblivious to my discomfort. While she appeared triumphant, basking in attention, I felt humiliated and betrayed, profoundly hurt by her willingness to sacrifice my dignity for fleeting popularity. Later, confronted privately, she dismissed my hurt as oversensitivity, insisting it was merely fun. But the truth remained. It wasn't harmless humor. It was a deliberate public diminishment masked by laughter. Understanding this betrayal through the lens of Stoic philosophy provided clarity and strength. Epictetus wisely teaches it's not external events harming us, but our perception. Applying Stoicism, I realized the humiliation attempted reflected not my worth, but her own insecurity and need for validation. Her actions symptomized emotional struggles, not measured my character. Recognizing this allowed emotional detachment, viewing actions objectively rather than as personal wounds. Stoicism encourages focusing on personal reactions and boundaries, not seeking validation from mistreaters. Establishing firm boundaries is vital, clearly communicating public humiliation's unacceptability, regardless of intent. Forgiveness doesn't necessitate acceptance or continued exposure to disrespect. I possess every right to emotional self-protection, even if limiting interactions with a sibling repeatedly breaching trust. Ultimately, healthy relationships, including familial ones, must ground in respect and kindness. No one, family included, holds the right to weaponize vulnerability. I deserve relationships uplifting and honoring me. Sometimes protecting myself means distancing from those refusing this fundamental boundary. 5. Emotional absence. Sometimes betrayal manifests not through harsh words or overt actions, but through the painful silence of emotional absence. This silence cuts deeper precisely because it originates from someone trusted implicitly, someone assumed present during darkest times. A sibling's absence during life's hardships isn't merely disappointing. It's profoundly isolating. It conveys the message that my struggles, pain, are insignificant or invisible to those presumed most caring. Silence occupies the space where empathy and support should reside, leaving a void resonating louder than any spoken insult. I recall a particularly challenging period involving unexpected loss of a close friend. Grief felt overwhelming. While many extended comfort, my sibling remained conspicuously absent. No calls, messages, gentle inquiries about coping. Months later, upon finally inquiring about their absence, their casual dismissal of my pain proved almost as hurtful as the initial silence. It wasn't anger or cruelty, it was something even harder to process: indifference. This emotional detachment felt particularly painful, undermining a foundational belief held that family represented an unwavering support source. This betrayal of silence, though subtle, proves profound, causing lasting emotional scars. Psychologically, it reveals a fundamental disconnect or siblings' inability for emotional engagement, often stemming from personal fears or discomfort surrounding vulnerability. While seemingly passive, this absence actively communicates lack of empathy and understanding, potentially damaging sibling bonds significantly. Stoic philosophy provides valuable guidance for navigating this form of betrayal. Philosopher Seneca wisely stated, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality," reminding us emotional well-being shouldn't depend entirely upon others' actions or inactions. Stoicism teaches focusing on controllable elements, personal responses, and emotional resilience. This perspective doesn't diminish hurt, but empowers seeking strength internally, rather than perpetually awaiting external validation or support, potentially never arriving. The lesson here is clear, powerful. While controlling who supports me during challenges lies beyond my power, controlling my response to their absence remains within it. Do not expend energy attempting to elicit care from someone unable or unwilling to provide it. Invest instead in those demonstrating consistent emotional presence. These individuals merit trust and emotional investment. Ultimately, acknowledging and accepting others' limitations frees nurturing relationships genuinely enriching life, offering deserved support and understanding. If you found these insights valuable, let me know by commenting yes below. Your thoughts matter, and I'd love to hear from you. 6. Forcing you into family roles that do not serve you. Betrayal often manifests quietly, concealed beneath the weight of familial roles and unspoken expectations. Many siblings unintentionally reinforce roles within the family structure, roles neither chosen nor agreed upon, silently pressuring me into positions draining energy, stifling growth, restricting individuality. Perhaps cast as the peacemaker, eternal caregiver, or conflict resolver. These assigned roles, lacking consent, can silently erode self-perception until feeling trapped, suffocated by obligations never truly belonging. Consider Emma's story, positioned from youth as family mediator. During rising tensions, she was expected to intervene, soothe emotions, restore harmony, often at personal cost. Over years, this expectation grew burdensome, causing immense emotional stress. Emma began recognizing the enormous toll, deteriorating mental, emotional health from constantly prioritizing others' needs. Eventually, she established boundaries, explaining inability to shoulder constant emotional burden. Instead of understanding, siblings responded accusatorily, labeling her selfish for relinquishing a role never willingly chosen. This harsh reaction clarified their definition of family loyalty rooted in convenience, entitlement, not genuine love, care. This form of betrayal is deeply psychological, revealing family members' unwillingness to adapt, evolve, assume responsibility. Siblings resisting change often fear shifting dynamics, forcing confrontation with personal contributions to family difficulties. They project discomfort onto the individual attempting liberation rather than addressing underlying issues. Stoicism offers a potent perspective navigating these familial traps. Epictetus emphasized focusing on controllable elements, reactions, choices, releasing uncontrollable ones like others' perceptions, demands. Embracing Stoic philosophy, Emma recognized inherent right to define personal role, live according to values, well-being, not constant self-sacrifice meeting unspoken expectations. The key takeaway remains straightforward yet transformative. Family roles should be chosen, not imposed. Stepping away from draining expectations doesn't signify disloyalty. It demonstrates self-respect, authenticity. Bearing weight of obligations undermining happiness or mental health isn't required. Establishing clear boundaries, advocating for oneself might initially provoke resistance, but ultimately fosters healthier, more respectful relationships rooted in genuine understanding, not silent obligation. 7. Competing for parental favor at your expense. Within some families, an invisible contest for parental approval quietly unfolds, driven not by affection, but a deep-seated need for validation. This rivalry can manifest subtly, disguised as sibling success, kindness, confidence. Yet beneath appearances lies strategic competition, where siblings might position themselves favorably by highlighting my shortcomings, often timed carefully for maximum impact. They share personal successes immediately following mention of my past struggles or flaws, crafting an image of themselves as the reliable, deserving child while simultaneously casting shadow over my character. This form of betrayal proves uniquely painful, affecting relationships with parents, causing them perception not as I truly am, but through a distorted lens crafted by sibling manipulation. Feeling trapped ensues, constantly needing justification or explanation, perpetually measured against unrealistic standards set by someone manipulating perceptions for personal gain. Consider the well-documented dynamic between Kennedy brothers, John F. Kennedy and Robert Kennedy. While history celebrates unity, deeper analysis reveals complexities, pressures, subtle rivalries fostered by familial expectations. Though both achieved remarkable success, underlying competition existed, carefully managed yet intensely felt. John's charisma, political ascension created an environment where Robert often felt overshadowed, inadvertently compelling consistent self-worth demonstration. Yet rather than direct undermining, rivalry took form through indirect pressures, managed appearances, subtle shifts in family expectations, favoritism. Such dynamics, though subtle, left both men bearing weight of familial expectations, influencing decisions, self-perceptions throughout lives. The psychological root of such sibling rivalries lies in deep-seated insecurity, fear of insufficiency, being overlooked, loved less. Siblings engaging these dynamics often operate from emotional scarcity, mistakenly believing parental affection limited, necessitating competition over cooperation. This mindset breeds ongoing resentment, prevents genuine emotional closeness, replacing healthy familial bonds with transactional relationships. Stoic philosophy offers profound insights into this familial betrayal type. Marcus Aurelius wisely suggested peace resides in truth, not approval. True Stoicism involves recognizing futility, destructiveness of seeking external validation, especially at authenticity, self-respect's expense. Applying Stoic principles teaches detaching self-worth from others' perceptions, judgments, especially manipulated, distorted ones. The solution lies embracing Stoic practice of authentic, truthful living. Instead of competing for parental approval, define self by personal standards, integrity. Allow actions, genuine character stand as true measure of worth. Communicate clearly, assertively with family, setting boundaries against attempts at diminishment, misrepresentation. Establishing boundaries doesn't mean loving family less. It means respecting self enough, demanding authenticity, fairness in relationships. The critical takeaway: love acceptance should never constitute competition. Family bonds thrive on mutual respect, authenticity, sincere care, not manipulative comparisons, strategic presentations. Recognize, clearly see through such behaviors, knowing participation in dignity undermining competition isn't required. Focus instead, cultivating truthful, self-defined sense of worth. Doing so maintains inner peace, creates possibility for healthier family relationships grounded in respect, genuine connection. These 7 betrayals aren't merely painful, they're deeply personal, reshaping understanding of family, trust, even self. When hurt originates from a sibling, someone meant for unwavering support, it leaves scars difficult to explain, harder still to heal. But Stoic wisdom reminds clearly, birth bonds don't dictate boundaries necessary today. I owe peace to no one repeatedly undermining, humiliating, holding me back disguised as family loyalty. It's time for honest self-assessment. How long allowing shared history overshadow present peace? Choosing self isn't betrayal, it's courage. Reclaiming